Hey, I'm golf broadcaster Matt Adams. The updated and expanded second edition of my book, The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments, is now available. Readers can expect to march with Arnie's Army at the 1960 U.S. Open, relive Jack Nicklaus's remarkable 1986 Masters win, and be amazed by the Tiger Slam. The Golf Round I'll Never Forget, Golf's Biggest Stars Recall Their Finest Moments. Pick it up where fine books are sold, including BarnesandNoble.com and Amazon.com.
This day in sports history. Hey, and welcome into another edition of This Day in Sports History. It's May 26th, and on this day in 1959, pitcher Harvey Haddix pitched 12 innings of perfect baseball and lost. 36 Milwaukee Braves came to the plate. 36 Milwaukee Braves were retired. The left-handed Harvey Haddix was on the mound for Pittsburgh on this day at Milwaukee's County Stadium. And despite suffering from the flu, flat mesmerized the Braves bats and the 19,000 in the stands that day. When he retired the side in the ninth, it marked the fifth time in modern Major League Baseball history that a pitcher had set down 27 straight batters. When he pitched into the 10th, he became the first to actually take a perfect game into extra innings, and he kept it going into the 13th. The leadoff man in the bottom half was Felix Mantilla. Mantilla hit a sharp ground ball to third, and when third baseman Don Hoke's throw was in the dirt, Mantilla reached on an error. There went the perfect game, but Haddix still had a no-hitter going. Eddie Matthews sacrificed Mantilla to second. Hank Aaron was next up, and he received an intentional pass to set up a possible double play ball. That brought Joe Adcock to the plate, who swatted a Haddix pitch just long enough to clear the fence in right center. So the game ended 3-0, right? Well, no. Aaron thought the ball hit the top of the wall and bounced back in. When Mantilla crossed the plate, Hank ran off the base path to celebrate with his teammates. Adcock circled the bases but was called out as he crossed home plate. Instead, it went down as a double, and instead of a 3-0 win, it became a 1-0 win. But whether it was 1 or 3, it didn't matter to Haddix, who was heartbroken that his 12 innings of perfect pitching resulted in a loss, and of course is not listed in the record book as a perfect game, because it got broken up in the 13th. The Pirates' bats that day produced 12 hits off Braves starter Lou Burdett, who also pitched a complete game, but they couldn't push a run across. Years later, Haddix recalled there had been a storm brewing in the area. A hard-hit ball off Burdett earlier in the game was heading for the outfield bleachers when a gust of wind blew it back into the ballpark, and Aaron reeled it in. Humorously, in the offseason, Burdett went to Braves management and asked for a $10,000 raise, saying, "The greatest game ever pitched wasn't good enough to beat me, so I've got to be the greatest." Now, it's interesting that this came on the 3-year anniversary of another stellar pitching performance against the Braves that also did not result in a win for the other team. In 1956, Cincinnati pitchers Johnny Klippstein, Hirsch Freeman, and Joe Black combined for a no-hitter against Milwaukee through 9 2/3, but it wasn't enough. This time, it was Frank Torre's RBI single in the 11th that plated the winning run in a 2-1 win for the Braves. And hey, it's race day at the Brickyard today. That's if the weather actually allows the race cars to get on the track. But let's go back to this day in 1991, when it was Rick Mears winning the Indianapolis 500 for a record-tying 4th time. Mears and Michael Andretti battled with 15 laps to go. On a restart, Andretti made a pass on the outside, but he couldn't keep Mears in the rearview for long. On lap 188 of 200, Mears played the same card as Andretti, passing on the outside, making it stick, and then he proceeded to put a lot of distance between his car and Andretti's on his way to the checkered flag. Mears became the 3rd driver to win the Indy 500 4 times, along with A.J. Foyt and Al Unser. Helio Castroneves joined the group in 2021. In 2002, it was some late-game dramatics by Robert Horry to lift the Los Angeles Lakers to a playoff win against the Sacramento Kings. So this is Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. This is also the same series that I talked about a few days ago on the 20th when Kobe Bryant got food poisoning, prior to Game 2. So here we are 6 days later, and if it really was the New Jersey Mafia targeting Kobe, maybe they should have targeted Big Shot Bob instead. The Kings shot out to an early lead and were up 20 after the first quarter. LA fought back, and when the Lakers' Samaki Walker hit a 30-footer at the end of the half, it was a 14-point game. But Walker's shot should not have counted. Replays showed the clock had gone to triple zeros, but at that time, the clock did not have the red light feature that we have today, and so it was deemed a good shot. Those 3 points would be big later on. With the Kings up 2 and 10 seconds to play, here's how it sounded that night.
We're down to 7 seconds. Bryant putting a move on Christie. Rebound O'Neal. Coming up short. Horry for the win.
Now, you don't get the nickname Big Shot Bob if you don't hit the clutch ones in the final seconds, and Robert Horry hit a bunch of them. The dude won 7 NBA titles, and really, with the outcome in doubt and just a few seconds on the clock, Robert Horry was one of the best options in NBA history to hit the big bucket. The Lakers won the series in 7 and went on to the NBA Finals against the New Jersey Nets. In 1995, Ken Griffey Jr. sacrificed his body and half his season to make a catch against the Baltimore Orioles. Playing at Seattle's Kingdome, Kevin Bass took a Randy Johnson pitch deep to center. Griffey, running full speed, leaped into the wall, made an incredible backhanded catch, and crashed hard into the padding. He held onto the ball, but broke his left wrist in the process. He would miss 73 games that season, but amazingly, missing nearly half the season would not cost him the Gold Glove. His defensive play, including the catch he made on this day, still secured it for him despite only playing in 72 games that season. On this day in 1969, ABC and the NFL agreed to broadcast a game on Monday night to begin in the 1970 season. NFL Commissioner Pete Rozelle originally went to CBS and NBC, who already had contracts with the league, to pitch the idea. But neither one of those networks wanted to disrupt their primetime television schedules to accommodate this new idea. So, Rozelle went to ABC. ABC wasn't really thrilled about the idea either, but when Rozelle threatened to take it to Howard Hughes and his new Hughes Sports Network, ABC relented. When the first Monday night game was broadcast on September 21st, 1970, it was an instant hit, with 33% of televisions tuning in to watch the New York Jets play the Cleveland Browns. And do you know the name Sergey Bubka? Well, unless you're a track and field aficionado from the 80s and 90s, you probably don't. But on this day in 1984, the Ukrainian Bubka set a world pole vault record for the first time at 19 feet 2 1/4 inches. Bubka became well known for incrementally and literally raising the bar on the world record, establishing a new world record another 34 times over the next decade in the pole vault. After the dissolution of the Soviet Union in the early 90s, Bubka signed with Nike, who paid him a $10,000 bonus each time he set a new world mark. And time now for today's non-sports Did You Know? It takes as much as 870 gallons of water to produce 1 gallon of wine. That's all I've got for you today. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you may be, and I'll be back with more tomorrow on This Day in Sports History. This has been an original Thrive Suite production.
Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, a.k.a. the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you got to do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.